Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Ali marhabish, and welcome to a new podcast. I hope you're all doing well, inshallah. In this episode, I'm going to tell you the story of how my mom reconnected with her friend from elementary school during our trip from Djibouti to Ethiopia. So grab a coffee, a matcha, or a tea, and enjoy this episode wherever you may be. Yalla, let's get started. So a few years ago, I went to Djibouti with my mom and I vlogged the entire journey. These vlogs are still on my channel, so you can watch them to see why I went to Djibouti. If you're interested, of course. Anyway, so I have family members living in Ethiopia and in Djibouti. So these countries are neighboring, and when I was younger, we always used to visit both countries during the same vacation because it was impossible to visit one without the other. And that was also the case this time. So we planned a trip from Djibouti to Ethiopia to visit my grandma, Allah yarhamha. We always go by plane, but this time my mom said, let's do something else. Let's go by train. It takes around 6 to 7 hours, but you can vlog and you can show people the beauty of Africa. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's try something else. So we arrived at the station and I remember it was super early. I started recording the intro for my vlog when I noticed a lady looking at me. She was standing with someone else a bit further away from us and said pretty loudly, "She's not from here." I thought, hello, I can hear you and I understand what you're saying. Even without my camera, I already gave off Farangi vibes. Farangi means foreigner. No matter how much I dress like a local or even look like one, I literally look like a local. They can still sense it. I don't know how. I'm a Farangi over there and I'm a Farangi over here. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So it was time to go through security and the same lady bumped into me and my mom. By the way, she didn't do it on purpose. But this was the moment when my mom got a closer look at her and said, "She looks so familiar. I think I know her." So the lady was carrying heavy bags and asked us if we could help her. My mom kept telling me, I know her, but I just cannot remember from where I know her. Anyway, so after getting our passports checked, we walked to the waiting room. Subhanallah, the lady ended up sitting right next to us. My mom looked at her and said, "Jawahir, do you remember me?" She looked at my mom and said, "No, I don't know you." But when my mom said her full name, they both started crying and hugging each other. It was such a beautiful moment. My heart literally melted. Then my mother explained to me that it was her childhood friend and her classmate from elementary school. Abu Jawahir introduced herself to me and then it was time to walk to the platform and we entered the train. Auntie Jawad was sitting next to my mom and me on the train. So they were talking about their childhood and their elementary school. It was so funny to hear someone else describe how my mom used to be, you know? So like how she was as a kid, but also as a classmate. And yeah, I couldn't stop laughing. It was so hilarious. And then suddenly, the train stopped. And no one had an idea what was going on. At first, I did expect a small delay because, I'm used to Dutch transportation, like trains being cancelled or delayed for various reasons. So I was not surprised at all. I was like, okay, it's gonna probably get delayed or it's gonna stop somewhere for a bit. But this reason was definitely something different than I expected. So it turned out that the train stopped because there were herders walking with their cattle. And they were given priority. So people said that it often happened that one of the animals would get hit by the train and that sometimes herders did this on purpose because they tried to claim compensation. I'm not sure if that is true. I'm telling you guys what people said. It did take like a couple of hours, so I think around 2 or 3 hours before we could like continue our journey. And I'm not sure, were they negotiating with them? We still don't know what was going on. Anyway, so the staff took good care of us. They arranged sandwiches and drinks for all the passengers. And everyone was sharing their drinks and snacks and connecting with each other. And I was just listening to their childhood stories and teenage stories in Ethiopia. I was really enjoying those conversations. So we were stuck together, but it was all positive vibes. Eventually, it took us a total of 12 to 13 hours to get from Djibouti to Dreidawa. It was a very long trip, but definitely one to remember. I was so happy that my mom and Auntie Jawahir reconnected, and to this day, they're still in contact. So the moral of the story is that if Allah wants you to get reconnected with someone, even if it is like after 50 years or 60 years, it will happen because Allah is the best of planners. This was the second episode. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to follow me on my socials at Yassi's Voice Notes, also on Instagram, and I will send you a new voice note very soon, inshallah. Bye bye. Ma'a salama.